And we are live. Gentlemen, welcome back to the first episode of 2025 of the Mecca of Banter podcast. Wow, 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 wow. Super stoked to see everyone in 2025. You know, regardless of how 2024 was for you as a whole, as a fan, it's always nice to see the boys in the new year. Staying strong, staying together. I'm your host this week, Henry Wind. You can find me on Twitter at Henry Wind. It's a great week to be a Manchester United fan, like I say every single week.
Every week.
It's just
never falters.
Every single week without fail, especially not this season. It's never faltered this season. So I'm happy to be here, excited to talk about my favorite team and the world's favorite team, Manchester United, and we'll also talk about a couple of smaller teams in the England country. So
Man, you think they blew out whoever they played last week, too.
Played them off the pitch. Dobes, how are you doing tonight?
I kid you not, fellas. I just got a text from Madison, and literally what it says is, "Good thing you don't have to wear that paper bag tonight on your head." So that's. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. It's what she texted. So I'm feeling good. I don't have a paper bag on my head. United actually looked halfway decent. It's good to be here, boys. I feel like this is the first time in a while we've had all six of the fellas on at one time. So for those who are listening, Happy New Year again. I feel like it's borderline still able to say Happy New Year, but I'm still going to say it. But let's dive in, fellas. Good to see you, boys.
The listeners deserve a Happy New Year from the fellas. You know what I'm saying? They haven't heard it yet, so they deserve it. Nick Hayflinger, how we doing?
Very, very good, brother. I'm happy to see all you guys as well. I was obviously not on the pod for the last 2 weeks, and I missed talking banter with you guys. I also wanted to be known that I had established that I was not being on the pod before both of the Chelsea games had occurred. So, regardless of the outcome, I was still not going to be on the pod. Obviously, my luck was good because I got to skip both of those results.
So funny how that happens.
I know. But happy to be here. As Dope said, Happy New Year to listeners. As always, you can find me on Twitter at HeyFeet4. Happy to talk to you boys. I listened back to the pod and I took note of who was talking shit.
Yeah,
all of
us,
you
know,
all of us.
Yeah, all of us, literally.
See, this is the Mecca of Banter. That's kind of why we're here.
Oddly enough, all five of you talk shit. I don't know why, but
go ahead and mark us down in advance for every other match week from here on out.
Yeah. But what's nice, Nick,
more
is
nonsense than shit. Sorry.
You're a man of your word. Chelsea dropped points again, and here you are on this pod. So you're a man of your word. It's just happening so frequently that Chelsea's dropping points that you'll catch a stray every once in a while. We're out here. Andy Hoover, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. I'd have been on this pod 6 times total if I'd been taking Nikki's route towards the beginning of the season. So, no, everything's good. I just did some living room Pilates because my gym's closed and we're snowed in.
That's the most feminine thing I've ever heard.
Hey, man.
I love it, though.
Hey, man.
I'm about to do the same thing.
Y'all ever done Pilates? It hurts places of your body that I didn't know existed. There's a reason for that, and it's because it doesn't do that kind of stuff. So it's no shame in just accepting when you've got weak parts of your body. But
maybe you should tell Ange to have his boys.
Brother, they need to stop doing something because they're left and right hamstrings and ankles, and it's insane. They can't.
It's crazy.
Everything else, we're solid. I'm happy to be here. It's always good. It's always great. Love being here with you guys. So, rip it.
It's always something. Winks, what's going on, man?
What's up, guys? Winks here. You can find me on Twitter at LCW21. It's another week of matching whatever Liverpool does and drawing again. We just cannot. What?
Another week?
These last 5 weeks? Yeah, we've.
I mean, you had a loss in there, didn't you? Since last time we talked?
What?
You had a loss in there? Did you just skip over the whole Brentford game, or were you just talking about the time?
In the Premier League?
Was that not the Premier League?
No.
On the 31st? Was it not? Am I capping? What's going on? Was there a midweek game that you lost?
We beat Brentford 3-1. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my God, I read it wrong. Fuck! I was so pumped to go. It's like it's midweek and you skipped it?
I thought you were trying to make me feel stupid.
I misread it.
No, you look at like the last like 5 to 200 match weeks. We've just done the same. Like we just, anyways. I know we'll get into it. Good to see you guys. Happy New Year. Come on, you Gunners.
God.
Shit.
Come on.
I'm here.
I know.
Come
I
on.
know. Oh man. Now Butchie, I want to save you for last because I was curious if like we needed to do a wellness check because like the conquerors of Europe seem to be slowing down a little bit, and I don't know if it's like, are you still conquering Europe? Or are we still like high vibes, or are we a little sad?
Bro, we're great. Top of the league, man. My mental state great. We're great.
Here we go, Galaxy. Here we go.
My mental state is fantastic. I just wrote in my journal here, our journal for the first time. I feel great, bro.
Yeah, I found it to be pretty convenient that the first time that you ever claimed a journal was directly after dropping points to United. like, was that the tipping point that you needed to dive into?
Hey man,
that?
it's the year of change. We got guys doing Pilates. We got guys
Yeah,
journaling. Like
we're out here.
hey, no shame.
Nick showing up to podcast, everyone's chipped in, everyone's doing things. No, it's good, man. Glad to have the boys here. Dobes, as you mentioned, it's the first time that we've all been on in a while, and that typically means that all the banter is flowing freely. But we are going to start off with Arsenal, who did not lose midweek to Brentford, despite what everyone's saying that they did. They did not. So, Lucas, you have a double match week to talk about here between your Brentford game and your Brighton game. A 3-1 win for you against Brentford, followed by a tie to Brighton 1-1. Now, Brentford and Brighton both have been really fun teams to watch all season long. So these are no slouches that you went up against. But what were your takeaways from these two games?
I think that beating Brentford midweek was huge for our momentum going into the weekend. And Mbuemo scoring early wasn't ideal for us, but I feel like in several games that's kind of been the story where those games where we aren't coming out firing on all cylinders, we make a defensive error and they capitalize on it, and then we're left clawing back the rest of the game, and that's a bad position to be in when your team doesn't really have the strong ability to create attacking chances inside the box. I think that's been the story a lot lately. I know we talked about it last week, but we still are just missing that player with that killer instinct inside the box. I think that we do everything really, really well everywhere else on the field until you get into the opponent's 18-yard box, and then we just kind of forget how to play soccer, unless it's off a set piece, obviously. But
when was the last time you scored a set piece? Like no banter? Actually, I feel like it's
against Brentford.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah, Mikel Merino scored one against Brentford.
Yeah.
But regardless, Brentford is a tough team and plays the Big Six really well, so I was very happy with that result. For the most part, we had everybody healthy outside of Kai and Saka, obviously, but then Odegaard picked up some sort of illness midweek, so going into the Brighton game, we started 3 center defensive midfielders. What's up?
Butch just cracking a nooner.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even see that.
Snow day.
Snow day. Which fuck.
Yeah, but excuse me, like looking at the Brighton game specifically, because obviously dropping points there wasn't ideal, but looking at the lineup we started, we had no attacking threat. We weren't playing Crystal Palace, so we knew that Gabby Jesus wasn't going to score.
You said it. Fair enough. That's where exactly I was headed.
Ethan Nwaneri played incredible. Scored our only goal. The more he plays at that right wing position and in Odegaard's absence, the less I think we need another backup right winger. And I'm just continuing to hammer that.
He's hurt now though too.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be out a couple weeks, so it looks like if Sterling's healthy, which I doubt he's even healthy right now.
Come on, baby.
He's
Bring
not.
him in.
He's not at the moment, knee injury. So we're back to putting Martinelli on the right wing to start games. But no, I mean, we started three defensive midfielders and then another defensive midfielder at right back that game. So I didn't have high hopes for the over in that game. Again, no attacking threats, and I think that the story here is that defensively we continue to excel in not giving these teams a ton of great opportunities, if any, outside of a controversial pen. But then on the other side of the pitch, we just don't have anything to show for it. Like it's sort of like flipping a coin. Like some teams are either really, few teams are very, very good at both, and those are usually the teams that are at the top of the table in any tournament or league. But so many teams are either great offensively and they score a ton of goals, but don't have anything to show for it because they're letting in 3 or 4 a game. We're on the opposite side of that, where our attacking threat is so minimal that we just have to rely on scoring 1 or 2, hopefully 2 or more, and just not giving any up. And I think that definitely goes on the backs of David Raya, who's having an incredible season, as well as our back line. But again, it's tough. I go back to the old tale of consistency on calls, and whether that call was a pen or not. I've seen angles where Saliba does look like he gets his head on it. Somewhere it doesn't look like he gets his head on it. The weird part was that Anthony Taylor called it a pen immediately. Like, didn't even have any time for any of the Brighton players to like bitch and whine about it to him before he called it a pen. And then VAR, I guess, said within like 3 or 5 seconds, whatever it was, confirmed that it was a pen. And I just feel like in a 1-0 game, typically VAR takes a little bit, like usually they take too long to make decisions like that. So it was just weird to me that it took as little bit of time as it did. It could have been a pen. It could not be. Like, say what?
So do I have a petition that you can sign?
Yes. Hey. I mean, yeah. It's obviously it's partially on him, but also like the VAR team that's back there. Like they didn't take in my opinion, the necessary time to look at it. So
this pen call is so challenging.
This
though.
one sucks.
It's
weird.
It's really hard.
Heads collide on the box all the time, especially on set pieces.
Yeah.
So definitely a weird scenario, but I felt like putting that aside, they call it a pen. Fine, I can't. Me complaining about it does nothing. But looking back on how we reacted to it, like so they scored, then Odegaard comes on, great, but he's half fit for the rest of that game. We didn't create anything. We didn't bounce back in the way that we've seen us earlier this season, and in some of these where we've come back to draw or come back to score, a game-winning goal at some point in the second half. So that, for the 1,000th time in this analysis, goes back to where's that offensive threat going to come from? We can't necessarily rely on a kid who's not 18 yet to create all of our chances for us.
3 center backs, 4 defensive mids. We need to call this man Miguel Al-Qaeda, brother. I mean, what are we doing? That is terrorism at its peak, brother.
6 years.
Oh my God. Terrorism. Unreal.
6 years, multiple signings.
I mean, but like you got that's an insane meme, by the way. But you look at our bench, and like who do you play instead? Like we have Jakub Kiwior, another center back. Lewis Skelly.
Like 12 center backs, to be fair. So like that's who you play. I understand where you're coming from. But like
I told Griff that, like, and it's not really a positive, but it kind of is a positive. I texted Griff, I was like, the one positive that Arsenal fans can kind of take is all that game shows is that you have to go sign somebody if you want to challenge. Like, it's not
that's what's crazy to me, bro. Like,
you got a result and then like can still say we're winning and we're continuously winning games. It's just like now that
been signing people though, and they've been saying that.
I mean, the fact that they still we've had to come on here for about 2.5 years and said they haven't signed a 9 is insane.
It's insane. But what I don't understand too, like, what are we talking about? Like, Winks, you said it earlier though. Like, if Wanyeri can keep playing at this level, like, you may not need to sign anyone. I'm like
a right winger.
Sterling, brother,
You need to sign a right winger
You
regardless
need a
of how
left
well.
winger too.
Like,
Martinelli's cheeks.
But the thing is like I just feel like with as many games as the clubs play now, like at this point, genuinely, I do not mean banter by this. I don't think Saka is going to go another season for the rest of his career without injury. I just don't think it's going to happen. That's a huge surgery to have at this stage of his career.
He's
without
played
like to have
200 plus games at what age 21,
22 or whatever he is.
That's
but like,
and that's not even that's no banter. He's just 23.
But like you even think that Ethan Winieri, like if he keeps balling out, that's awesome. But like, at what point do you rely on like you said, a 17, 18-year-old next year, like to just keep balling out and he's your only option? Like you got to go sign another right winger. I get that,
but
like,
the piece there is we don't have a replacement for Edu yet. I have no idea. Like my brain is thinking that without him, I doubt we go and splash an insane amount of cash. And even if we do, Arsenal fans will be furious if we split that amount up to sign 50% of whatever we're allotted towards a 9 and the other 50% towards a right winger or a left winger or whatever they like.
Instead of what? What would be the alternative?
Spending more money
like just on a 9?
Spending more money on a 9, getting through the rest of the season on what we have at right wing, and then in the summer when most teams typically have a larger budget, then going and seeing what we can do. But I don't know that splitting that allotted amount up towards a 9 and a right winger is going to be what wins us the league, unless we can somehow get 2 guys with that. They don't have to be like absolutely world class. Borderline would be even awesome, but like I said it last podcast, like whoever we sign, they just need to have that killer instinct in the box, because
you also
that's
said
what we're missing.
On the podcast when you signed Sterling that he would be a backup for Saka, and
I did.
And
I also he is. I also said he wasn't my first choice, but he's got Premier League experience, and it's obviously I wouldn't have signed him on my own accord, but I'm going to justify it because he's on my team now. He also
at this point. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he's also barely played, but
yeah, you'd taken to replace Timo.
Yeah, the thing is,
I
was so wrong about that signing. I said that Sterling was going to be one of the signings of the season whenever he went there, and he hasn't played. But like he just literally, brother. But man, yeah, it's tough. Like Arsenal just continues to be in this space where they're so close to being the team, but it's like, at what point do you invest in the club enough to take it to that next level where it's like, I would play devil's advocate of saying like Saka's going to be out till what, March, like February, March. So there's your main goal scoring threat right there. If you don't go and sign someone, like, because what I think is going to happen is like what you said of like, you could either split up those funds and sign 2 positions, or you could sign 1. I don't think you all are going to sign anyone. And I think that that's what's going to happen. You're going to get through January, and then you're going to like play semi well for the second half of the season. And you're going to be within touching distance of Liverpool at the end. And you're going to be like, cool. But like, had you invested the money in January, could you have changed some of those results? Because it's not like Liverpool have been perfect. They've had a couple ties underneath their belt.
We're just mirroring them. But I think the other tough piece to it is a lot of these big name 9s aren't going to leave their club mid-season.
I know, that's what's hard.
You know what I mean? Like, so maybe this is a scenario where we do splash on a right winger who is, able to leave. But again, any of these players at top clubs in the world are top performers for their clubs as far as goal scoring specifically. 99% of them aren't going to let them leave their clubs mid-season, and I don't want to sign the one that their club. Depending on who it is, I don't want to just sign someone just to do it. But obviously, winning, challenging for the title is important too. But it's a bitch of a decision to make. Do you just sign who you can just to attempt, to win the season or to win the league when we're, what is it now?
6 points in 1 game.
Honestly,
so 9 points at the worst right now. And
I kind of host you guys, if I will say, like, if this was your, you've got your manager, you've you've got 80% of the squad that you feel will compete, you bring in a couple pieces, and then he leaves, like, you're, like, if this was my club and, like, I'm looking at what's happening with Spurs and, like, a guy who's made a lot of really positive sporting decisions just steps out, and then, we're needing reinforcements urgently for a team that we felt was going to compete for the title at the beginning of the year, like, who steps in and is making those calls, and what is ownership going to allow that person to do with the time and money that you have available? Like, I think that was kind of a dagger for real. I don't know necessarily if it's going to completely be the reason that things don't happen for you, but you have to think, like, everything's been clouded since that.
Yeah. Where did he go again? Like, what did he leave for?
The CEO of
CEO. Yeah. Wow.
Arsenal's next 4 too is Newcastle United, Spurs, Villa.
Well, that was 3.
Exciting.
Yeah. Oh, Newcastle and then United.
United.
Got it. I was like, why did we split them out? Why did we use their government name?
Why are you using my government? I don't know, man. I feel like, I don't know.
We're in a good spot on the table, not a good spot as far as everything else goes.
Extremely hard team to beat still. Like,
the sporting director of Atletico Madrid just left, and there's connections to both the United job and the Arsenal job that he may have left that club for. So
I've also heard a lot of rumors about us with the good relationship we have with Sociedad, that we've been looking at their sporting director too. That came out pretty close to after you do.
Don't worry about it, bro. There's always phase 57.
Yeah,
phase 57 is the right one,
brother.
We'll find it. We'll find it. Man, it's gonna be so funny if we get to the end of the season and, like, Arsenal sitting there being like, you know what, we tried our best, and maybe next year. It's like, god damn.
Hire some more pickpocketers, brother.
I will say tomorrow's a massive game though. Like, I truthfully, like, I don't want to say it's your best chance at a trophy this year because I don't want to rule out the Prem, but, like, I do think it's a really good shot for you guys if you guys can get past Newcastle somehow tomorrow.
Well, we're gonna have to score at least 1 goal.
Isak's audition.
I also think it's funny that we're like a week into the January transfer window and we, like, have zero business to
I almost
report.
said that the other day. Yeah,
So
because
weird.
I keep
signed a goalie.
Yeah, they did actually. Yeah,
I keep checking Fabrizio's Instagram, and I'm like
Literally
not seeing anything. I'm just like, this
for,
is
like, anyone,
boring.
not just our clubs. It's just like there's nothing going on.
We have a bid out for Tomori, I think.
Who do?
Chelsea does.
Really?
Tomori?
To bring him back?
I watched him try to hit a long ball today, and it just went straight to the other team.
I saw that.
I just see the coach just throw his arms like.
Shout out AC Milan one time. Shout out AC Milan. Let's move to those boys in blue. Chelsea with a 1-1 draw against the Palace. What's up, bro? What's up?
I don't even know where to start. First thing I'll probably start with is I fully back Enzo Maresca. I like him a lot. I'm super excited for what he's done with our club and the future of our club with him as our manager. But I do think in this game, his substitutions were questionable. I think I said it in our message that a 1-0 lead is one of the worst leads we could have right now in the current state of Chelsea because we've had it consistently and have blown them.
You called that one too.
Yep. And so him making subs late in the game with the bench that we had and it being Mark Giu and Medwicki, like I was very interested by those. I thought there was plenty of opportunity in the second half when we weren't clicking on all cylinders to make subs and make a change and an impact in the game. And it wasn't. I think we were kind of hanging on to our 1-0 lead. Past that, Winks already said it, Cole Palmer. What a goal, what a finish. Jadon Sancho as well. United boys must still absolutely love it.
In the mud.
Why?
What?
Why are we in the mud?
I didn't say we're in the mud.
I did.
Why are we in the mud?
I said
Nacho's got 8 goals and 5 assists this year. We're good.
We're fine, fella. We're fine.
Give us that 25 mil for him, baby. Pay up.
Absolutely. Has more than any of your front three right now.
No, he hasn't.
There's more assists, yeah.
Garnacho in all comps this year has 8 goals and 5 assists, my friend.
I'll throw that in there. I'm talking about
What does he have? What does he have in all
He has
comps?
5 assists.
In all comps? No.
No, in the Prem.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like Amad Diallo, I'm good with Amad Diallo and Garnacho for sure.
Okay, I'm fine with that. But yeah, he's playing well for us right now. I loved our 18-year-old Josh Akpom playing at center back. He was definitely there were some passes that he was making that were not finding the end result, but he was still making them with confidence, and he was stepping into positions and having the ball at his foot and putting himself in good situations as a center back. And obviously that's something I like to watch a lot. So I was very impressed with him, and I'm excited for his future. I do think, obviously, Colwill I've been praising for years, and I think he's been doing well. I think the goal was on him. It was bad positioning on his part, and a cross back to the open guy in the middle that Colwill kind of just left on an island. I hope that as him and Josh and maybe even Fofana, when he's healthy, get back in and get some more chemistry, that will slowly start to go away. He's also still very young. He's only 21. So I'm starting to kind of like our partnership back there. Reece James being on the bench was huge. I'm happy he did not play. Like, I really don't want him to come back anytime soon. I also think Gusto is definitely doing enough and filling that role for us right now. But yeah, I think any points here was okay, but I really definitely wanted 3 because we're slowly starting to fall behind Arsenal. I still definitely think us, Arsenal, and City are the closest to even possibly catching Liverpool. But we'll see. I'm not saying we are.
I don't see it.
Those 3 are the only that have possibility.
We're just gonna leave the tricky trees out here like they don't have the second least.
After today's game, you're right. I apologize. After the performance they had today,
Bro, they have the second least goals
trees.
conceded. The
You're
second
right.
least goals conceded behind Arsenal.
You're right. I would definitely throw that team in there as a possibility for catching them. But
That's why I want to win. That's why I need to win.
Dude, Forrest winning the league would be the scenes,
Unreal.
bro. The scenes.
It would be great. It would be so
I'd
good.
jump off a bridge. Nuno. Fucking Nuno, dude.
Somebody said that it was like Spurs completely thought. I made everybody think that Nuno was just a shit manager, but it was really just Spurs.
Man, they just can't win, man. I'll tell you that much. I mean, at least you're proving what, like, you know, all your players and managers have said for all season, that you're not in a title race, Nick. So, you know, self-fulfilling prophecy on this one.
I think we're closer than any of the other clubs. So
True, and you're still not in it, which is crazy. You know,
I don't think that's the case, but if you think so, that's okay.
I don't think
You just said yourself that Liverpool are going to drop points, so now you're going back on that.
If Arsenal's
They
not
drop points.
if Arsenal's not in the race per you, then you're not. You're
I
done.
never said
They-
that. I just threw them
Liverpool
in
has
the
9 on my list. They're okay.
Arsenal, City, Forest, and us are, I think, still in the race.
Well, unfortunately, Liverpool doesn't play United for the rest of the season, so we know that there's not guaranteed drop points there. So, you know,
Hang on to that one. Throw it in the rafters, brother.
literally, I will because
I was in your spot.
Can we play you as we win?
1 point at Anfield, hang it.
Dude, literally before the Liverpool game, I was watching that Amad Diallo goal in like the FA Cup in like the 119th minute or whatever it was, just like so pumped up. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Tottenham, what the fuck is going on over there?
Dude,
What a transition.
Serge Reguilon and Jed Spencer playing center back. That's definitely a part of it.
Reggie wasn't bad.
No,
dude. He was
dude.
not bad.
No.
He was
I
solid.
I wanted to hear your opinion on him, because I didn't think he played bad, but he definitely got hung out to dry a little bit.
He's all like, even when he was playing under like Jose, I thought he's always been serviceable. He's never excelled at either side of the ball. Like, offensively, you could see that he didn't quite have it in his legs almost to when he's played outside back, you know, Destiny Nuggie and Pedro Porro were up and back and through the middle and up and back and making overlap runs. And I don't think he had the legs. And for a guy who's played like 2 competitive matches in a year and a half, okay. Like, it was pretty evident to me that he couldn't keep up with the style and pace, and he's probably not fit for the style itself. But serviceable, dude. Mad serviceable. And it's just the fact that we're relying on him now that melts my face. Emerson Royale won a trophy today with AC Milan, brother. I thought the back line for Spurs couldn't get worse than last January when he and Ben Davies are leading the charge. It's gotten way worse. We're in the trenches. We are in the trenches right now.
Yeah, Dragusin is
he's mid.
I think you said it 2 weeks ago, but like that goal that they scored is on him. Like he needs to step there. Like sheesh.
He's mid at best. But he was never supposed to be this guy. He's supposed to be the FA Cup replacement for Romero. Like
I just thought he had a little hype coming in. I remember.
Well, he played great with Romania in the World Cup. Like he was a standout center back for Romania. Probably a very low block and defensively based team, not a high line track back team.
Stand up for Romania.
For Romania, brother. Yeah, Romania needed that guy because it's Romania, brother. It's a defensive team. We're not talking about any France. This isn't Spain. They're not swinging the ball and making passes. They're sitting in a low block and playing well against big European teams.
For Spurs.
And now he's doing it for Spurs, but that's not actually what we do. So, Dial, we want to get back to that and check on that situation.
Speaking of wanting to jump off a bridge.
Yeah, no kidding, dude. I don't have the same level of grace that Winks has when it comes to certain calls. When did a handball leading into a goal not count?
Dude.
Like, when did that
Unbelievable.
I'm full on Team Who with this one. I'm full on Team Who for this one.
It wasn't just, handball, middle of the field, 4, 5, 6 passes get pinged around, lead into a goal. Okay, that's the situation that we're like, okay, well, when does the handball leading to the goal thing?
Right.
It landed through to Anthony Gordon.
You sending the diagram from the Prem website of what is a handball? What is a handball? It's just a guy like this.
Anything outside of the straight down, it was wide. It was
I think it's questionable. It was close to being straight down.
Oh, it was so close, except for the 5 inches of space between his arm and his leg. Just straight down, yeah.
It was natural. I don't think he was putting his arm out at all.
Holm is facing the ball.
It's Jolinton. Of course he did it on purpose. He's a big Brazilian. He tries to play the game to win any way possible. What is Unreal. No.
Unbelievable.
Dude. Okay, so then, we don't get that one. But then we get a very questionable Dan Burn gets wider, hits the ball with his shoulder to stop a counterattack. He gets a yellow.
Because it was out wider.
And it might have hit his shoulder. If he didn't stick his arm so far and he just chicken winged it, it might have counted. It was, I don't care, he got a yellow for it. And we got Jolinton assisting with his hand to Anthony Gordon. That's just not, Jolinton could have had 3 yellow cards in the first 15 minutes of that game. Full disclaimer, hand up. I did not wake up to watch this game. Why on earth would I get up at 6:30 in the morning after a late night to watch Spurs inevitably lose at home to name it? I'm probably not getting up for these 6:30 games right now. This one especially because Newcastle, I hate Newcastle, and they're good. Whatever, fine. I watched the first 35 minutes of the replay. I've seen the highlights, whatever. I was texting Henry and Dobes. I got 35 minutes through the full replay this morning.
Like 4 all caps text? 4 all caps?
I couldn't even finish the replay. I was so angry. It's all fine. It's all fine. I watched a lot of the post-game stuff, and Ange was fuming. And, I went back, and now that I've done a decent amount of the replay, totally warranted. Like, he didn't ever say it either. He never said it. He's like, you're trying to get me to say something, and I'm not going to say it. But if this game was, a fair and even football match, he's like, I think we win. At least get out with a point. I definitely think Spurs deserved a point, even without the missed calls and missed yellows and missed whatever. I still think the fact that they didn't put the ball in the net in the last 25, 30 minutes was insane to me. There's a clip that's like the definition of Tottenham's year, and it's like 5 balls going across the face of the net in the last 10 minutes of the game, and no one just puts their foot through it. Aggravating, extremely aggravating. It's not going to get easier. We play Liverpool midweek in a semifinal, which is why I'm assuming Sonny and Matters didn't start. Fine. Look, we don't have a squad that we can just like rotation's the name of the game. That's just with any club playing in 3-4 competitions still. We don't have players. The bench was like 5 teenagers. Brandon Austin made his Premier League debut at 25 in net because Fraser Forster was puking his guts out and Vicario shattered his ankle. So like, I'm picking at scraps here. Like, we can sit here and say Ange is to blame or this and that's to blame. I do think there's got to be something with the training staff and Ange's training tactics. Like, if we're really this injured all the time, we got to self-reflect just a little bit. Nick, you said the same thing last year when you guys were going through it. Like, what's not working in the back room? That's aggravating, but it's also like there's nothing.
Goes a long way.
It goes a long way, and I think the Spurs have never had a good training staff. To be totally fair, it's just I feel like this happens just all the time. Nicky Van de Ven didn't get hurt once at Wolfsburg. He played every single game but one when he was rested. He's been out months, and like he's having hamstring issues, and like I get it because he's the super fast, speedy backline guy that we play this high line with, and allows us to facilitate that. But why is he hurt so much? Like, why are we rushing him back to things? It's very clear that this guy may be the centerpiece of what we could hope would be a great back line in the future. But, dude, keep the hamstrings on the bone, bro. Yeah, so it's just another disappointment. It's like, at this point, like, I mean, for real, like, what do you want me to say?
Timo Werner is the most Spurs player I've ever seen, though.
I don't even agree with that. Do you remember Gareth Bale? He also played for Spurs. Don't put that on me. Timo Werner is the 4th string backup left winger that we're relying on because nobody is healthy.
When you're good, you're good. When you're bad, and you get unlucky a lot. That is literally Timo, and that is Spurs.
I'm sick of that guy. Apparently, he's already like it's already confirmed that we're not signing him through his loan period. Clearly, and apparently Red Bull has also been like, shit. Well, we don't want him, so we don't really know what to do there. But I mean, look, playing a semifinal on Wednesday, so that's sick. Liverpool's probably going to rotate a squad because they just played United, won 100 minutes in the dead cold. That all slates to be positive, but again. Name my back line. You guys
lost. I'm betting you to win.
It's just not. I just don't. There's just no. The light at the end of the tunnel that I thought I said I had last week talking to United guys is so much farther away than I actually thought. But hey, we signed a 21-year-old keeper from Red Star, so he's apparently supposed to start Wednesday. He's a passer. That's all I know. I've seen a minute and a half clip of him passing. I sent it to Dobes, and I was like, Fraser Forster's legs would explode trying to send any of the passes that he actually connected out of the back. So that's great. That sets up well for us. It doesn't look like much of a panic guy. That's the positive I can pull here, because Spurs actually doing anything in the first 5 days of January in itself nuts.
Yeah.
So let's tip the cap to old daft-headed bald twat Dan.
Love that guy.
Dan
I love
Levy.
that guy.
I heard he might get an NFL team, though.
Hey, man. Jaguars. I heard they're looking to find new permanent residents in North London. So it'll raise the revenue. But where does that revenue go? Nobody knows.
Exactly.
Nobody knows.
His pocket, brother.
Yeah. Always
for what it's worth, I was watching football on Sunday, American football, and the Bucks clinched the division again, like four times in a row. They won the division, and on the broadcast, they said, like, we want to congratulate Baker Mayfield and the Glazers. And I had literally like a cold sweat break down my body. Like, don't you fucking ever say anything good about the Glazers. Don't you ever say anything. Yeah, man, the ownership is crazy. But I think you bring up a good point with like the backroom staff and the training methods of something isn't working. United went through it last year with Ten Hag or the year before, whatever it was. Like they just, no matter what, like United couldn't stay healthy, and there's just something that's broken in that equation. And unfortunately, you're getting bit by the injury bug pretty bad this season.
It did. It's not the training facilities. Beautiful. It's not the workout rooms. Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's not the stadium. So beautiful. Top quality. You should attract whoever you want with those amazing facilities that you always flex and show off. But then you bring in, we could bring in Mbappe and he'd break his ankle first day. So I got no hope, brothers. I'm out here just ready to throw shots. I got nothing to lose.
Yeah. Sorry about you.
It's all right.
Let's talk the game of the weekend. The game that everyone was looking forward to this weekend, and the game that's kept me smiling for a while now. Liverpool.
I will admit.
It's a great game.
Dude,
yeah.
It's the season so far, for sure.
It's a great game. It was so fun to watch. 2-2 tie, Liverpool and United at Anfield. Some big drop points for you, Butchie. Yeah.
Here we go. He's gonna be way too nice. He's gonna be like, United looks good. Yeah. Just fucking get it over. Be too nice.
Say it.
First of all, game had everything. And did you guys see Darwin Nunez, John Jones, Mateus de Ligt's throat, bro?
Yeah. It should have just been red.
Bro, he should just leave and the Lions need defensive players. Just go fucking sign for them.
Darwin is so good, Butchie. I'm so happy he's on your team.
Hey, man. You want him?
No. I told you, I've said this. Nico Jackson is better than Darwin Nunez, and you told me I was an idiot. And now I don't think that's the case.
Well, we'll come back to that. No, the game had everything, obviously. And I'm not going to sit here and be an idiot. Like, United played really well. Like, I can't. I texted Doug.
Be mad. Be mean. Talk shit.
I am pissed, bro. I am pissed. Okay? I've got a mixture of anger right now, and I'm also tipsy. So, that's great. But
if you drank 75% of a high noon and you're like tipsy.
No, I'm just crying. Hey, no, but listen. United, it was the best they've played. Do I feel like we dropped points? 100%. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to talk shit on Trent because fuck me, dude. I mean, I went back and what's funny is like in live time, I didn't see on Licha's goal. Like Licha hit a bomb, cool. But I watched the on Twitter Trent's defending. Dude,
Crazy.
I got fucking infuriated, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking infuriated watching that. And then like when he gave the ball away in transition and Van Dijk
he lost the ball 25 times yesterday.
Bro, when Van Dijk like death stared him like that, dude, there was some sentiment to that. He was literally like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, if your head's not here, dude, you better wake up. And I told Dobes we were playing Call of Duty and I was talking to him and I was like, we're really going to see what Arnie's made of here. Like, if Trent's behavioral situations don't improve with his contract negotiations, Arnie's going to have to make a decision. It's going to be, do I bench his ass for Bradley or do I keep
I think Bradley's
him?
a better right back than him.
Well, Bradley's got so much potential, and I've loved Bradley since a couple of years ago when he came on the scene. Like he's going to be a dude. I have no doubt about that. He's going to be a dude. But if Trent's mind is gone already, then Arnie needs to he needs to resolve that situation and make a choice and say, look, I'm riding with Bradley or I'm going to ride with you. It's your choice. If you don't want to do it, you can sit on the bench for the next 5 months, So the world.
I don't understand about that though. Like genuinely, this is how I legitimately feel about it. Why would you not let Trent go to Real Madrid in January? Like you could get 50-60 million for him directly into the club. Pure profit, academy player. You all have 9 points, or assuming 9 points on the league. You can afford to put a young Connor Bradley in that position because you have 10 other players around him who are seasoned. They're veterans. They've been there. They've done that.
I don't think that was ever going to come to fruition. I think that was Trent's team there's a ton of Liverpool fans being mad that he's going to leave for free. I think that's Trent and his agents and everybody being like, Real Madrid put an offer in so we can say we rejected an offer. And then when he goes for free in the summer, they can just be like, well, we offered. So
Like you don't think that the bid was ever real?
I think that I truthfully think that I think Trent's going to end up with his best friend Jude at Real Madrid. Like, let's just be honest, those two guys are best friends.
That's going to happen for sure.
I truthfully think that Trent and his team, like, they're trying to pretend like they didn't know this offer was coming in. Like, you clearly know an offer is going to come in, and I truthfully feel like that was placed. I think Real Madrid knew he wasn't going to accept it. He wants to go win the league with Liverpool. Like, he's not just going to leave. He was never going to leave. I truthfully think that offer came in just as a way for Trent to be like, well, they did offer money. You guys chose not to take it. I'm going to leave for free.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like if you're in Liverpool's spot, like, you would try to negotiate a deal for him in January because you try to get the deal done and you would at least make money, because otherwise he just leaves for free in the summer. And it's like, I just feel like you could close out the league with Connor Bradley, and maybe you sign an even younger center or right back, or maybe an older right back, but just a good backup. Like, I just feel like now would be the point to cash in on him versus letting him leave for free in the summer and it being this whole thing for the next 5 months. Is he here? Is he not here?
I don't know, man. That's so tough because it's like, and Gary Neville and Jamie were talking about how Virgil and Mo Salah are being treated so much differently than Trent is, strictly because Trent is a local academy lad. So all of the fans feel like Trent owes them something, is sort of what, and I don't want to speak for you, Butch, but that's at least the sentiment that Jamie Carragher said, that fans feel like Trent owes the fans something because he's a local lad and it's all pure profit, right? When in reality, it's like Trent probably just wants to go explore Spain, like go play for the biggest club in the world. Like, and to me, that should be fine.
Yeah. You know what's funny? 26. You know what's funny to me, though, is like, if I'm a Real Madrid fan, and take it from somebody who has actually been to the stadium, I have fucking seen it in person, and those fans are fucking crazy, guys. Okay? If you're a Real Madrid fan and you watch his defending the other day,
you don't want him,
brother, they will light him on a stake, brother. They will fucking go crazy. I'm telling you, like, Anfield fans are crazy too. Real Madrid fans are different level. And if he defends like that and he goes to the Bernabeu, they're not going to end up.
I'd take 32-year-old Danny. I'd take 32-year-old Danny Carvajal over him 10 times out of 10.
Totally. Dude, it's
10 times out of 10.
Yeah. Carvajal is phenomenal, right? But if we look at the situation, it needs to be resolved. And I think the club is going to get to a resolution for Salah and Van Dijk, but Trent's is obviously the ugliest one. So we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and it needs to be figured out because we are top of the league. We're also first in the Champions League, so we have a lot to play for, and there's a lot to win for us this year. So if they don't figure it out, that could hurt us for sure.
Yeah, the defending was not good on those 2 goals at all.
Past Trent being
the first
shit.
one, dude. It's the first one for me. Like, he's fucking jogging.
I've seen that clip so many times.
So many times. It's circulating everywhere.
And it drives me nuts because, like, I'm watching that and I'm thinking, I'm like, I've benched so many kids on my team for not running and not, like, tracking back. And then I'm watching that and I'm like, God, dude, like, I know there's no unlimited subs in the pros like I have, like Dopes has, but, like, dude, that's just crazy to me.
I think it's wild that we're surprised. Like, I think it's been a thing.
I saw a stat today that he's been dribbled past 30 times this year, the most of any player in Europe's top 5 leagues.
That's crazy. Like, that's not a good stat.
He's dog water at defense.
Yeah. He's been, and I think everyone's kind of agreed that he's been a little bit better this year compared to his track record. Like, he's not been that.
At least at the beginning of the season, I do think we brought it up, but
still
that game was like a reminder.
Boys
like,
that were,
I'm still Trent.
The boys that were on last week, ball knowledge, not putting him as our right back, we would have looked so bad right now.
I didn't put him on my list.
I was on. I would have fucking.
Oh, you guys saw my list. I had to miss last week for that.
Yeah, you did.
I can put him in my team, bro.
Yeah,
you did. That's
true.
Ball knowledge.
Well, no,
what
man.
Can we say?
I know.
Dopes, from the United perspective, how you feeling about that game?
Yes, I was rooting for Snow because I just didn't want to have to go through the stress of the 90 minutes.
That meme was hilarious. of Jamie.
But I will I will say like that to me, those type of games where it's not like a 7-0, like for me it doesn't get better than Liverpool United, and truthfully like that game had it all. And I think if you look at just the way we set up, like we're in Amorim era phase 0.01, and we can say that we went to the Etihad and we went to Anfield and had over 45% possession and beat Manchester City and then tied Liverpool. I think it's more frustrating than anything, and I think Amorim shared that sentiment in his press conference after the game. It's like he wasn't even mad at the fact that we didn't win the game. He was mad at the fact that what we saw from so many of that group of players is we have not seen in the entire season, really. We saw it against Man City. You see it against Liverpool. It's just like think yourselves in a high school soccer, right? Like we see Lafayette guys get up for a Eureka game. No matter what your record is, no matter what Eureka's record in, you get up for those games. But the frustrating part of that is we saw early in the game, DeLitt, hammering tackle. Kobe Manu, hammering tackle. Maguire, hammering tackle. And it was just a mentality that we hadn't seen in such a long time from this collective group of players. And so many people deserve praise for just the way that we played. Maguire was fantastic again. Lisandro Martinez needed that performance so bad because he had been so suspect over the past couple of weeks. Diego Dalot, and yes, he was going against Trent, but like it was the best that he's looked over the past couple of months. Like my favorite player, Manuel Ugarte, fantastic. Kobe Manu again, fantastic. Mazraoui, like all over the field. And you have to mention Bruno Fernandes. Like Bruno Fernandes, again, this was the first time that he's had a week off. And yes, it's because of him being a dumbass and getting a red card. But like this is the performance that we've seen from a Bruno Fernandes who's not being run into the ground. Like he was everywhere. He was absolutely everywhere the entire game. So I think as a performance as a whole, you have to be extremely ecstatic. Like the no look pass, the no look Ozil bounce pass to Licha scores, the celebration. And then not only that, we got punched in the mouth twice. Like, yes, it's a handball. DeLitt is very unlucky. You can't really fault him for that second one. He did get beat on the first one, but other than that, he was fine. Like he was good. You're playing against Liverpool. You're playing against the best team in the world. Like mistakes are going to happen. So I think there's so many positives to take away from this game, and everybody's going to sit here and kind of say what they want to say about Rasmus Højlund. He's 21 years old. Like I saw something today that said when Gyökeres was his age at Swansea, he had 0 goals in 11 games. When Lewandowski was 21 at Dortmund, he scored 8 goals in 33. When Ibrahimovic was 21 at Ajax, he only scored 13 goals. But those are the chances that if you want to be the consistent 9 at Man United, you're at Liverpool, you're going towards the Kop in a big game, like you have to bury those chances. So I think obviously happy with a point going to Liverpool. But I think the frustrating part is, truthfully, fellas, like I think we deserve 3. Like I really do. We had enough chances in that game, and a ton of credit to Amorim for the setup. We made it extremely frustrating for Liverpool to play. Didn't even notice Mo Salah was on the field until he stepped up and hit that PK, which truthfully says a lot about Dalot. Which says a lot about Dalot. Which, by the way, on 10 times I said this to Butch. De Gea saves that pen.
That was not a good pen. Yeah,
bro.
David De Gea saves that pen. But I'm happy with the result. I think the thing that we've seen with this United team, and I saw Goldbridge saying this, is that you have the right to criticize these players for the last couple of weeks, but at the same time, they deserve so much praise for the attitude in which they showed. But it's the same thing I said after the City game. It means nothing unless you do it against fucking Ipswich, unless you do it against Bournemouth, unless you do it against Brentford.
Wolves,
like the best thing,
Newcastle.
Wolves, Newcastle. The best thing that we have going for us, truthfully, is the fact that we play Arsenal next. And what I mean by that is, got to get up for it. It's another Big Six. It's another rival. These guys are going to be up for it. We're not going to a Bournemouth. We're not going to a Brentford to where the mentality can drop off. And we're going to Arsenal, a team that, if there's a time to play Arsenal, it's probably right now. Mm-hmm. No Saka, no Wanyeri. Like, it's probably the time to play Arsenal. There's a ton of positives to take for that game. But again, fellas, it means nothing if we don't stringline this into a results. Again, we tied the game. We didn't get 3 points, right? Like, unless we can string this into after Arsenal, it's a pretty favorable schedule. If we can string it to results, and this can be the start of something, great. But at the same time, what we've seen from not Amarim, I'm going to say this group of players is that after a big result, that mentality doesn't stay. It typically drops off and there's some relapses. So if we keep the mentality going, this result can mean a ton. Going to Anfield, best team in Europe this entire season, and probably should have won. That's a positive, but it only means something if we can continue it on.
This was the first week since Amarim's taken over that United got some consistent training under their belt. Do you feel like that played
first time?
Do you feel like that played any effect on the game?
Amarim said it himself after the game. It's like training is one thing, and of course it'll help. But like what he said is, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he essentially said that the training's not an issue. Like you can do all the tactics in the world. All these guys can have the IQ, but if they don't come into the game with the correct mentality to go out and win, not just win, but put in tackles. Like the best part about this game for me was Bruno Fernandes in the second half, because this was a game where it had everything. Emotions were high. And this is typically a game where you see Bruno Fernandes' emotions get the best of him. He does something stupid.
Too. He was so close.
He does something stupid. He's yelling at people. He's screaming at people. And instead, he was composed. He played great as a 10. Then he dropped in as a 6 when Kobe came off. And he was the man of the match. It might have been the best game we've seen him as a collective in a United shirt in a long, long time. But it's mentality. Like the training obviously will help in something in terms of getting the 3-5-2 in terms of how we want to play. But so much of it is just mentality, man. And honestly, I'm going to credit Harry Maguire for a ton of it, dude. Like he was a leader, a true leader in that game, and we don't get a draw without him.
I thought it was the craziest call I've seen in a minute was Harry Maguire's yellow, that slide tackle on Mo Salah at the top of the box. Oh my God.
So clean, bro.
You also don't win that game with him either. Just going to throw that,
at the very end.
Minute, skied, 6-yard shot.
Yeah, I mean.
I said it. I was blacking out yesterday if that goes in, fellas.
Same.
Like, 100%.
I was about to have myself a day, but Harry Maguire deserves a big amount of credit, but also Lenny Yoro comes on in the 80th minute against Liverpool, 19
years old at the Cop.
In putting in some absolute tackles. That one tackle that he had that's all over Twitter. I mean, just picture perfect tackle. It was great, and there's a lot to take away from it. But what I find to be interesting is, and you mentioned it, Amarim talked about it, Bruno talked about it, Lisandro Martinez talked about it in their post game. It's just the mentality side of things. It's like the players know the mentality isn't good enough, but no one's stepping up to change it, which I find to be really interesting. So
I'm gonna say that Manuel Ugarte is, and people are gonna call me crazy, he's the most important player in our team. Truthfully, I believe that. And why? Because when you play with just 2 in the center midfield, you have to have somebody that's mobile when you're going against a 3. I saw something today. Let me see if I can't find it real quick. I saw something today about his stats combined versus Liverpool away at Manchester City. Yeah, here it is. 100% aerial duels won, 100% successful takeoffs, 91% passing accuracy, 10 tackles and interceptions, 8 blocks, 6 progressive passes, 5 ball recoveries, and 0 times dispossessed against Manchester City and Liverpool. Like that's a guy that he's so important to just the way that we play in this system.
Mm-hmm. He's a good player. I think it was someone in our group chat saying that there wasn't a single player from Manchester United that is good enough to be there, and I would say that he's a pretty good player.
He's probably JP, dude.
Dude, a lot of our clubs would be lucky to have that guy. So,
and also, I do think I gotta say this because Butchie's actually on. We can finally end this Kobe Manu versus fucking Curtis Jones debate, dude. That was finished, bro. Finished.
Dude,
yeah, but he ain't no Ryan Gravenberch.
Dude.
Oh, because he had one nice spin. Oh yeah, one nice little pirouette.
Bro,
Kobe and Amad Diallo love playing Liverpool. They love it. they put in worldies against him. It's great to see.
We didn't mention Garnacho. Good on him too.
Yeah, Garnacho played a really disciplined showing at that.
See what happens when you delete your Twitter?
Yeah, dude.
Hey man,
also,
Brett Johnson did it. Cause it miracle workers.
Do you see the still shots of like the offsides that got called against him? Lenny Yoro pings a ball 60 yards diagonally, and he's offsides.
I didn't see it.
The still shots, which aren't perfect. It's like he wasn't offsides by like a mile. Like it was literally like Verge was like literally 5 yards behind.
That's also the same linesman that saw Robertson literally with Ahmad's shirt like this that didn't put his flag up.
Just insane. It was crazy. Yeah, so it's like, I remember when he pinged that ball out there, I was like, you absolutely cannot be offsides there. That is unacceptable. And then when you go back and you watch the still shots, you're like, oh, yeah, no, he was not offsides. He was very much onsides. And then we haven't even discussed the handball that Liverpool got away with. That didn't even get reviewed by VAR. The clear handball in the box, that was insane. No review, no replay, no anything. Just absolute. It's a farce.
Join the
farce,
club, my man. Join the club.
I got a petition you can sign.
But that not only wraps up this episode of the Mecca.
Before we go,
factor cap.
Do we have a factor cap?
What, you got a factor cap?
A tipsy factor cap.
This is what I was going to stop us for. We got CP. Italian Super Copa champion with a goal.
Yes, sir.
Look at him and Tammy. Look at him and Tammy, man. Got that stench off him.
Man.
Chelsea winning trophies at Milan.
Hey, Chelsea Twitter was pretty funny today. They're like, bro, we're fighting between Neto and Madwicki, and we let Christian Pulisic walk.
I didn't do that.
There were arguments, but yeah, congrats on the lad. Musa too. Musa played well.
Well, I'd love to see it.
Have fun in Italy.
Bushy, you got one for us?
I mean, honestly, I don't really have like a factor of cap, dude. But like, if we talk about, I want to ask Wink something because he's been quiet, bro.
Too quiet.
And I love when Lucas is like, you know, he's
make him swarm.
So
starts talking about how long I've been a fan.
Dink.
You're almost at 2 years,
my
right?
question to you is,
and still have more titles in year 20.
huh?
No, ask the question, Bushy.
Oh no. My question for Lucas, and we can all chime in, is like, I want you to be completely honest with me. When Arsenal does sign a 9, who are they signing?
Who do I want, or who do I think we will?
Who do you? No. Who do you want? Who are they going to pay for?
Lukaku.
God, that would be so good.
No, I do think it'll be one of those top 5 guys that are sort of swirling around right now. Benjamin Sesko seems like a really very real possibility to me. Isak is a possibility, but that's my biggest want right now. I obviously love Gayorkis, but I'm just worried that he's not going to be the same player when it comes to the Premier League, and he's, I think, probably overpriced for coming to the Premier League.
The biggest issue with him is the club, because I would bet with the downturn that they've had since Amorim left Sporting, he's probably like, look, I'm cool to jump ship. I'd join a team that's immediately got a chance to win stuff in the Premier League. But that club, dude, Sporting, you're going to have to pry him from their cold, dead hands.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I could even see, the tough part is with all of our clubs, there's so many just rumors floating around of who we're actually targeting, who we're targeting more than others. And everybody knows that striker is the main position we need to solve for right now.
Everyone except for Arsenal.
Yeah, no shit. But I've also seen a lot of Cunha rumors getting thrown around.
See, that could happen now.
Yeah, it could.
He just signed a new deal.
Did he?
Yeah.
Last week.
Well, yeah. I think it hurts.
That's a tough one to find out live.
I'm glad that's the question. Now we got
nix that one. But I'm too afraid that Henry was correct earlier in saying that, I could just as easily see us not signing someone in January and signing a backup role for something else. But
yeah, I just don't think it's going to happen. I mean, I don't even know like who's out there available on loans. Like I could see that happening, like signing who? Oh, Colomwani. Yeah.
Milani.
Yeah, I saw that.
If he goes to the other side of North London first, baby.
He said, "We'll
I think
take him."
Sesko makes a lot of sense.
Sesko's a baller.
Yeah.
Dude.
Sesko's a risk though. I just feel like the trend. I honestly, and I'm not saying in January, I think it's. I would be very surprised to not see Arsenal try to break the bank for Isak in the summer. I think he more than Gokaris. I think he fits the system. I saw something today that what was it, that Isak has like created 25 chances from open play or something like that. So he's so much more than just a fucking goal scorer, man.
Yeah. He does that pretty well too. He scores goals pretty well. Yeah.
What is he, like 6'2"? And the way that this man moves on the ball.
Well,
crazy.
we talked about it, or and I stick with that. But we did a segment earlier this season on if we could sign one player from an opposing Premier League club to like make your squad better. Mine was Isak back then, and it's still him. So
Henry regen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Literally.
I changed mine too.
Love that. Well, gentlemen, the festive window for the Premier League is officially over. We go back to our regularly scheduled program. It was fun.
Good.
Thank
Fun while
God.
it lasted. But that wraps up tonight's episode of the Mecca of Banter podcast. Thank you for listening. As always, encourage you to give us a follow on all of our socials. Interact with us on the socials. And we'll see you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.
That was
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.